Parshat Vayera. Okay. We're going to start straight from the source. This is after Abraham defeated the 4 kings. He took back Lot. And there's a whole discussion which we're going to go through. Okay, let's start. אחר הדברים האלה, after these things, היה דבר השם אל אברהם במחזה לאמור. God appeared to Abraham in a vision. אל תירא אברהם. Abraham, don't be scared. Abraham was scared because he just killed millions of people. Not millions, hundreds, thousands of people. So Hashem tell him, don't be scared. You did the right thing. Don't worry. אנוכי מגן לך. I'm going to protect you. שכרך הרבה מאוד. You're going to get a lot of rewards. ויאמר אברהם, עד השם, מה תיתן לי? Abraham goes back to Hashem and says, God, what are you going to give me? ואנוכי הולך חרירי. He says, I don't need anything. I'm a billionaire. I've got all the money in the world. I just defeated the king of the world. What else can you give me? ובין משק ביתי ודמשק אליעזר. It says, the Eliezer is going to inherit me after I die because I don't have any children. So instead of giving it to me, you might as well give it to whom? Give it straight to him. Why are you giving me things? What am I going to do? I'm old. I'm not going to have any children. I'm about to die. What's the whole purpose? So, ויאמר אברהם, הן לי לא נתת זרע. It says, you didn't give me a seed. והנה בן ביתי יורש איתי. And Eliezer, my servant, he's going to inherit everything. So God disagrees. God tells Abraham, והנה דבר השם אליו לאמור. God says to him, לא יירשך זה. No. Eliezer is not the one who's going to inherit you. כי אם אשר יצא ממאיך הוא יירשך. The one who's going to come out of you, he's going to inherit you. ויוצא אותו החוצה, he took him outside, ויאמר הבט נא השמיימה, he says, look at the heavens, ספור הכוכבים, count the stars. אם תוכל לספור אותם, he says, just like you can count the stars, so will be your seed. ויאמר, כה יהיה זרעך, so will be your seed. והאמין בהשם והחשב צדקה. He believed in God, and God thought, oh, Abraham is a nice guy. Let's continue. ויאמר אליו אני השם, God told to him, I'm God, אשר הוצאתיך מאור כסדים, took you out from a place called אור כסדים, לתת לך את הארץ הזאת לרשתה. To give you this land to inherit it. The land of Canaan. ויאמר השם, במה אדע כי ירישנה? And he asked God, how would I know that I'm going to inherit it? And then they have this whole covenant. It's called ברית בין הבתרים. ויאמר אליו, so God told him, we're going to make a covenant. כחל לי עגלה משולשת, take to me 3 goats, ועז משולשת, 3 calves and 3 goats, ועיל משולש, וטוב וגוזל, לרם, 3 rams, and a pigeon. ויקח לו את כל אלה, he took all of these, ויוותר אותם בטבח, he cut them in the middle, ויתן איש ביתרו לקראת רעהו, and he put each part against each other, ואת הציפור לא בטר, but the bird he did not cut. This is the covenant. He took 3 calves, 3 rams, 3 goats, cut them in half, put them against each other. Okay. Rashi explains what's going on over here. ויוותר אותם, Rashi says, חלק כל אחד לשני חלקים. He divided each one to 2 parts. ואין המקרא יוצא מדי פשוטו. It says that's a simple explanation. Why? It says what was the idea of cutting them in לפי שהיה כורת ברית עמו לשמור הבטחתו להוריש לבניו את הארץ. This was the covenant where God promised to Abraham, I'm going to give you this land. And it says at that time, how was the covenant made? ודרך כורתי ברית, the way at that time to make a covenant was לחלק בהמה, to cut the animal in half, ולעבור בין בתריה, and to pass in between. כמו שנאמר להלן, העוברים בתי העגל, like he says in ירמיה, this is the way people do it. זהו. אף כאן, so also over here, he walked between, and God walked between. Where God walked between? So he says, תנור עשן ולפיד אש עבר בין הגזרים. God had a representative, it was a fiery torch that also passed between the two sides of the animal. הוא שלוחו של שכינה, שהוא אש, וירד העית על הפגרים, וישב אותם על הברם. Then in the end, the vulture comes, and he wants to eat the carcasses, he wants to eat the dead animals, and Abraham is forced to whoosh it away. Yeah, that's all in this week's Parsha. Actually, that might be in last week's Parsha, that's right. So, the Even Israel explains, what's this vulture doing? העופות העיתים על הטרף מסמלים את האויבים. So the vulture represents our enemies. They come to cancel the covenant. They want to make sure that the covenant is not there. So they want to eat it up. המנסים להתנכל לברית. They're trying to go against the covenant between the Jewish people and Abraham. Jewish people and God. So what does Abraham do? Abraham chases the vultures away. הוא ניסה להילחם באויבים סמליים. He's fighting against these symbolic enemies כדי לגרשם, to fight them away. Already then he saw that. יש בכך כדי לבשר כי הברית ומימושה צפויות להתכשל בקשיים ובאיומים רבים, to show us that the covenant with God, the land of Israel, is going to come after great difficulties. The entire world is trying to eat it up. That's represented by the vulture. ויהיה צורך לעמוד כנגדם בעתיד. It will be necessary to stand against them in the future. That's the whole covenant for the land. This is what's happening.
Rashi said this?
This is Even Israel, Steinsaltz says it. Yeah. Rashi explains what the ait is trying to say, and Rashi is, and Avram is wishing it away. Okay, so let's continue. Then it says, "Vayehi hashemesh lavo." The sun was about to come. V'tardema nafla al Avram, and Avraham couldn't keep up. He fell asleep. He couldn't keep himself up. Imagine talking to God, the whole thing, and that's it, but he can't. Boof, he falls down. And when he's sleeping, אימה חשכה גדולה נופלת עליו. He has great nightmares, great fear coming upon him. So the commentary, Steinsaltz explains, אין מדובר בשינה פשוטה. We're not talking about a regular sleep over here. הבא מתוך עייפות because he's tired. אלא בהיעדר אפשרות להישאר ער. He fainted. That's why it was so bad, the image that he saw, that he couldn't take it. He fainted. That's how bad it was. כאילו דבר מה מרדים אותו מן החוץ. Just like an outside force makes you faint from the outside. Yeah. Or a fright. A person who's frightened, he falls down sometimes. ואז נפל עליו פחד קודר שאין לו משמעות ואין לו תוכן מסוים. And then he was just afraid. Doesn't tell us what the scaredness is. And then the continuation of the verses goes like this. ויאמר לאברהם. God again is coming to Abraham, and he says to him, ידוע תדע כי גר יהיה זרעך בארץ לא להם. You should know, it's true I'm going to give you the land, but this land that I'm going to give you, it's not going to be now. It's going to be the future. Yeah? Before that, they're going to become slaves to a strange nation. ועבדון ועינו אותו 400 שנה. They're going to be slaves for 400 years. But don't worry, he tells him, גם את הגוי אשר יעבוד הוא דן אנוכי, ואחרי כן יצא ברכוש גדול. But don't worry, I'm going to take my revenge at the Egyptians. I'm going to judge them. And then it continues, ויהי השמש, we just read it. ויהי השמש בא, ועלתה היה בין התנור רשע, ולפיד אש אשר עבר בין הגזרים האלה. And then the fire comes between the covenant. Yes?
When you get scared, you don't fall asleep, you get energetic, awakened.
You didn't get scared, really scared. Did you ever see somebody get scared and faints?
Oh, they faint.
Yeah, this is what happens. Yeah, it was such a scare that the person, that's it. He loses it. He's not here anymore. Yeah. תנור העשן ולפיד אש מסמלים את הנוכחות האלוקית שעברה בין הבתרים הללו, ובכך נשלם הצד תגזה של הברית. So God comes in between the parts, and this is God's part. And this is the covenant. In other words, from the beginning, the covenant, God shows him, Avraham, I'm going to give you this land, but we can see this land is going to come with torture. It's not just giving it to you. In the beginning, first of all, you're going to get it after 400 years, and then everything that Avraham sees, he saw he saw what happened 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that's what he saw. Okay. Source number 2. Here we're going to go into this week's parsha and what we are going to be dealing with. So Abraham is traveling in the land of Israel, So it's going like this. ויסע משם אברהם ארצה הנגב, וישב בין קדש ובין שור. Abraham went, he sat in the land between Kadesh and between Shur. ויגר בגרר, and he lived in Grar. Grar is the name of a place. Who's in charge at the time? The Philistines. Don't confuse them with the Azatim. Not the same nation, not the same thing. Yeah, yeah, different nation completely. Yeah, yeah. But the topic is almost the same. It's even though it's a different nation, the acts are exactly the same. You're going to see what happens. ויאמר אברהם אל שרה. So now here comes the problem. The Philistines had rules in their country. It was taboo. It wasn't done to go to be with a married woman. Nobody will take a married woman.
Why you say Philistine? He didn't go to Egypt.
Yeah, first he went to Egypt, then he came back. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is after Egypt.
Oh, after Egypt.
This is after Egypt. Yeah. So he fenced.
So he went then to the Philistine after Egypt.
Yeah, he's living in Gerar. So remember the rules in the Philistines. It wasn't just the rules in the Philistines. It was the rules almost all over the Middle East at the time. Taboo to be with a married woman. So what do? You kill her husband and then you marry her. That was what it is. You wanted a woman, you kill her husband and then you marry her.
Easier to kill him than be with her
No, because it's taboo. It's taboo. It's like against God, against their idols. They wouldn't do such a thing. And that was the policy, and it was really like all over the place. The king did whatever he wanted. He killed whoever he wanted. He took whoever he wanted. Anybody's wife. That's the way it was done.
So it wasn't taboo to kill people.
No, that's a mitzvah. That was a commandment by them. Yeah, but to sleep with them, no. ויאמר אברהם אל שרה. So Abraham said to Sarah, אשתו, his wife, אחותי היא. He was afraid people are going to kill him. Yeah, so he says, she's my sister. And they lived as in the same house as a brother and sister. וישלח אבימלך מלך גרר ויקח את שרה. So Avimelech says, your sister? Okay, I want to marry her. And you can't say no to the king. The king took whomever he wanted. That was the rule. I can take whatever I want. I'm the boss over here. I'll do whatever I want. Then what happens? ויבוא אלוקים אל אבימלך בחלום הלילה. God came to Avimelech in a dream. ויאמר לו, הנך מת על האישה שלקחת והיא בעולת בעל. It says, you know what you did? She's married, and I'm going to kill you because of that. Yeah, she's married, yeah, and I'm going to kill you. ואבימלך לא קרב עליה, but Avimelech didn't had any relationship with her. ויאמר, so Avimelech is now complaining to God, you're going to kill me? What did I do wrong? Hashem, הגוי גם צדיק תהרוג? It says, I didn't touch her. Why are you killing me? I'm righteous. I'm so-called righteous, like the Palestinians now say. I'm righteous. I didn't do nothing wrong. What do you want? You're killing our babies. הלא הוא אמר לי, אחותי היא. He told me she's my sister. והיא גם אמרה, אחי הוא. And she also said, he was my brother. בתם לבבי ובניקיון כפיי עשיתי זאת. I'm innocent, completely innocent. Don't kill me. There's not, for the fact that I've been raping women for the last I don't know how many years, but I'm innocent. Over here I'm innocent. I didn't touch her. It wasn't my fault. ויאמר אליו האלוקים, God says to him, בחלום גם אנוכי ידעתי כי בתם לבבך עשית זאת. It says, I know this is your way. This is what you think is honest. I know what it is. ואחסוך גם אנוכי אותך מחתו לי. And says, and you should know that this is why I made sure you're not going to be with her. על כן לא נתתיך לנגוע אליה. That's why I didn't give you the opportunity to touch her. ועתה, and now, השב אשת האיש כי נביא הוא. It says, return the wife of that man because he's a prophet. So what? ויתפלל בעדך וחיה. And he would daven for you so that you may be alive. In other words, you're a dead man. God tells him, right now you're dead. If you return his wife, maybe, davening for you, maybe, it says, I know him. God says, I know him. He will daven for you, and then I can give you your life back. But in other words, everything depends on whom? On him. But if you're not going to return, he's not going to daven, and what's going to happen? You're going to die. Not only you will die, your entire kingship I'm going to kill. Not just you, everybody is going to be dead. Rashi explains, what does it mean, kinavihu? Rashi explained, what does it mean, ki naviu, that he's a prophet? Why does he need to tell him he's a prophet? Who cares if he's a prophet or not a prophet? So Rashi explains, ve'yodea shelo nagata ba, because otherwise he will not take her back if you touched her. But he knows you didn't touch her. So therefore he is going to take her back.
With Avram's prophet?
Avram is the prophet, yeah. לפיכך והתפלל בעדך. Since he knows you really didn't touch his wife, then he's going to daven for you.
Melech could tell him, listen, I'm not going to give her back. He wouldn't believe me.
That's why he has to say he's a Navi.
I told him already.
That's right.
You know,
So then continues, Avimelech, Vayashkem Avimelech b'boker. Avimelech woke up in the morning, ויקרא לכל עבדיו, he called all his servants, וידבר את כל הדברים האלה באוזניהם. He told them all the things that Hashem revealed to him at night, ויראו האנשים מאוד. Everybody was scared. ויקרא אבימלך לאברהם, ויאמר, אבימלך comes to Abraham and says, your fault. Everything is your fault, our fault. Since whatever the Jews do, it's your fault. ויאמר לו, מה עשית לנו? What did you do to us? ומה חטאתי לך? What did I sin against you? כי הבאת עליי על המלאכתי חטאה גדולה, מעשים אשר לא עשית עמדי. Says, you're doing with me things that cannot be done. Just like the Palestinian says, we don't have electricity, we don't have water, how can you do this to us?
But in this case, he didn't know actually, so it wasn't his fault.
He didn't know, but he did know that he's taking any woman by force and not asking for, throughout, this is the policy of the country, that he can do whatever he wants. Yeah, that he did know. Maybe in this particular sense he didn't do anything, and we're going to see soon, it's not because he didn't do anything. We're going to see soon what happened. Ma'asim asher lo yasu is telling Abraham, things that are not done you did with me, what happened? Maka asher lo ugala lavo al bria ba'alano. It was when Sarah came to his household, she said to the angel, hit him. And what happened? Al yadcha. It says God gave him a disease. What was the disease? Atzirat kol nekavim. He made sure everything in his body, all the orifices, all the holes in the body stopped working. Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. That's it, nothing works. In other words, shezera, seed cannot come out of the body. Veshel ktanim, and one cannot go to the bathroom. Vere'i was number one, number two. In the ears couldn't hear. The nose, everything is blocked. All the holes in the body are blocked. So the reason why he wasn't with Sarai, not because he didn't want to be with Sarai, he couldn't. He was so sick, like this. That's why he wasn't with Sarah, not because he wanted to. Continue, on page 6. ויאמר אבימלך אל אברהם, מה ראית כי עשית את הדבר הזה? Again, who is this blaming? Like the entire world is blaming the Jews again. Your fault. ויאמר אברהם, כי אמרתי, so Abraham explained to him, don't blame me. I'm living in a country where everybody is evil. I was forced to do that. You forced me to do it. What would have happened, he told him, if I would say she's my wife? What would you do? You would have killed me. Says, and you blaming me now? כי רק אין יראת אלוקים במקום הזה. I came to a place where nobody fears God. You guys do whatever you want. והרגוני על דבר אשתי. I knew that if I'm going to say she's my wife, they're going to kill me. ויקח אבימלך, so now this is the solution. אבימלך takes צאן ובקר ועבדים ושפחות. He takes sheep and cattle and servants and maidservants. ויתן לאברהם. And he gives it a present to Avraham. Remember, Avraham is rich. He doesn't need this garbage. For him, it's nothing. So think about what Avraham is taking it. וישב לו את שרה, and he returned שרה אשתו. ויאמר אבימלך, הנה ארצי לפניך בטוב בעיניך שב. It says to, Avimelech says to Avram, any part of the land is yours, go take. I'm not going to touch you. That's it. You're a holy man. ולשרה אמר, because of Sarah, he said, הנה נתתי 1,000 כסף לאחיך. He says, I'm going to give 1,000 silver to Avram. Achich is Avram, yeah? He nuhulach ksut enayim. It says, why am I giving you this 1,000 silver? Because if I'm not going to pay penalty, everybody's going to think I took you, I enjoyed myself, and then I gave it back. Now they knew I was forced to give it back. In other words, because people know I was forced to give it back, they will know why I was forced, because I got this disease, and that I didn't touch you. To prove that I didn't touch you, I'm going to pay you 1,000 silver. That's what he says. לכל אשר איתך ואת וכון ונוכחת. Okay. Rashi explains to Sarah אמר, Avimelech lechvoda. Avimelech says it for her honor. כדי לפייסה, in order to please her. הנה עשיתי לך כבוד זה, I'm going to give you this honor. נתתי ממון לאחיך, I gave money to your brother, which means to Avraham, שאמרת עליו אחיות, because you said he's my brother. הנה הממון והכבוד הזה לך כסות עיניים. Now you can go back with honor back. Otherwise you're coming back, as unfortunately the girls who are coming back now. Yeah? They're not coming back with honor. Sarah, when she came back with honor. Everybody knew that the Philistines didn't touch her, that Avimelech didn't touch her. He says, this is the money to show I didn't touch her. So everybody will know. לכל אשר איתך, to all that with you, יחסו עיניהם שלא יקלוך. Says, this one, nobody is going to disgrace you. שאילו שבתיך ריקנית, because if I would return you without paying ransom, yeah, יש להם לומר לאחר שנתעלל בה החזירה. People are going to say, after he used her, he returned her. עכשיו שהוצרכתי לבזבז מזון לפסח, now that everybody sees I pay you lots of money, יודעים יהיו שעל כורחי ישיבתך בדי נס. Everybody is going to know there was a miracle. God forced me to put you back. So you have your honor back. And now look what happens. ויתפלל אברהם אל האלוקים. Exactly what God says. Abraham prays to God. וירפא אלוקים את אבימלך. And God heals Avimelech. Not only him, ואת כל אשתו ואמותיו וילדו, in all his household. Everybody, and now he could have, everything was blocked, he would have died in a day or two, because Abraham prayed, everybody is healed, and everybody became even better than before. Okay. כי עצור עצר השם בעד כל רחם לבית אבימלך, על דבר שרי אשת אברהם. Because Hashem stopped every womb in the house of Amelech because of Sarai, because of Sarah. וילודו, Rashi says, כתרגמו והתרחבו, נפתחו נקביהם והוציאו. God opened their holes that he closed before and they came out. והיא לידה שלהם. בעד כל רחם, כנגד כל פח, על דבר שרה, על פי תורה של שרה. Because just like Sarah decreed these things upon them, Abraham said, okay, I'll daven for you so you're not going to have this disease. Okay. Page 7. After this, we see something happens. Because that Abraham prayed for Avimelech, what's going to happen now?
Sarah's going to get pregnant.
Very good. Abraham and Sarah couldn't have children. So it went through all this process because God wanted Abraham to pray for Avimelech that he could have a kid. Now we'll have to understand what's going on over here. So let's see. Sarah's conception. והשם פקד את שרה כאשר אמר. God made Sarah pregnant just like he promised. ויעש השם לשרה כאשר דיבר, ותהר ותלד שרה לאברהם בן לזקונה. And Sarah gave a birth to his son when he's old age, למועד אשר ידבר את אלוקים. To the time that God told him. ויקרא אברהם את שם נולד לו שדור שרה יצחק, and he was called Yitzchak. Okay. Now, what was going on over here with Yitzchak? So we're going to see, Rashi explains, לפי שהיו ליצני הדור אומרים אבימלך נדברה שרה. All the people in the world at that time used to say, Abraham is 100 years old. He gives Sarah to Avimelech for a couple of days. Then she comes back, and you want to tell me that's Abraham's son? We all know it's Avimelech's son. Even though he gave the money, even though everything, we don't know. Who's going to believe such a story? So what happened? שהרי כמה שנים שהתה עם אברהם, for almost 80 years she was with Abraham, ולא נתעברה ממנו, and she didn't become pregnant. So מה עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא? What did God do? There was no DNA test then. So how can you prove that Yitzchak is Abraham's son? צר קלסתר פניו של יצחק דומה לאברהם. He made a photocopy. It was like, Mama, Yitzchak and Abraham look exactly the same. You saw, it was to such an extent that Abraham later on in his life asked for old age. The people did not get old. Why? Because nobody knew who's Abraham and Yitzchak. When they walked in the street, they looked so much the same So Abraham says, make me white, so people will know, that I'm old. Make me wrinkles, that otherwise people will not know. He's the first one to ask for it. Yeah? But then nobody could say that that's the best DNA test. They look exactly the same. Everybody saw when Yitzchak grew, Abraham הוליד את יצחק. Abraham gave birth to Yitzchak. וזה שכתוב כאן יצחק בן אברהם, שהרי עדות יש שאברהם הוליד יצחק. This is why it says Abraham הוליד יצחק, יצחק בן אברהם, that Abraham gave birth to Yitzchak. And then there was one more thing that we learned, what Aryeh just said, והשם פקד את שרה, שמח פרשה זו ללמדך. It says, it's next to this parsha that God made Sarah pregnant. שכל המבקש רחמים על חברו והוא צריך לאותו דבר. Here comes the rule. If you daven for your friend, for somebody else, and you need that same thing, what happens? הוא נענה תחילה. God is going to give you first. God is going to give you first. So if two people need the same thing, and you daven for your friend, you're going to get answered first. שנאמר, how do we learn it? This is from Baba Kama. ויתפלל, and he davened, ושמיך לה והשם פקד את שרה. After Abraham davened for Avimelech, so he can give birth, then Sarah became pregnant, שפקדה כבר קודם שריפא את אבימלך. In other words, that she became pregnant before Avimelech was healed. She was already pregnant before Avimelech. That's he נהנה before. He is first. Okay. Now comes the problem. What's the problem? Here, this is the first problem we're going to have with this concept. We're on page 8. The Rebbe is asking the question, the obvious questions about all these stories. He says, I don't understand these whole things. Well, this whole story doesn't make sense. He says, first of all, I have this problem, the Rebbe says. אף על פי שכבר הבטיח הקדוש ברוך הוא לאברהם ששרה תלד. Says, I don't understand. There's already a promise. God promised Abraham, whether he likes it, whether he doesn't, that he's going to have a son, he's going to have a Jewish nation, and he's going to have Yitzchak, and everything is done. That's 30 years ago already. What are you doing now? ואם כן, so if this is so, let's say the Rebbe says, Abraham wouldn't have davened for Avimelech. And then what? What? He wouldn't have a son? Hashem promised he's going to have a son. In other words, it's got nothing to do with the davening. Why is the Gemara says you should know the only reason why she got there? It's because the reason why Abraham got a son is because God promised him 30 years ago. That's why he got a son. גם לולי תפילת אברהם על אבימלך, even without Abraham praying for Avimelech, היה הקדוש ברוך הוא צריך לקיים את הבטחתו. God would have needed to fulfill his promise. He gave him a promise. What are you talking about? אף על פי כן מדגיש רש"י, but Rashi says no, you should know, Rashi says, שפקידת שרה הייתה על תפילת אברהם על אבימלך. No, says Rashi. You know why God gave him a son? Not because God promised. The only reason God gave him a son, Rashi says, is why? Is because he davened for Avimelech. Rashi, that's not true. Right? Exactly.
He didn't get answered for 30 years, so you could say that it was the reason.
And if he wouldn't have davened?
Then he wouldn't have had it.
But God promised.
Yeah, but it's been 30 years already.
Yes, so that's God's problem. You don't trust God?
No, you do, but
There you go. That's
I'm saying it's a strength to say that boosted it.
you're saying just a boost.
Yeah, like it was something that you could see that was the reason.
Okay, that's it, if it works. הבטחת הקדוש ברוך הוא לאברהם הייתה כבר בית רבי דמיתרים. God already promised Abraham in the covenant that we said in the beginning of this class. כפי שממשיך רש"י, כאשר דיבר, וכאן הוא דיבר like he spoke. When did he speak? היה דבר השם אל אברהם, ברית בין הביתרים, ושם נאמר, לא יש חזה. Over there he already told him, this Ishmael is not going to inherit you. Or not Eliezer is going to inherit you. You know who's going to inherit you? Yeah, that's right. Your son is going to inherit you. And from Sarah, it says, זאת אומרת, that means, שאף על פי שהייתה הבטחה בברית הבתרים, it means that even though there was a covenant already, that we learned, אף על פי כן עבר משך זמן רב, there was a long time coming, 30 years actually, 30 years, שעדיין לא נתקיימה הבטחה זו, that this God did not fulfill, ולעומת זאת, and in 1 second, we see something very strange. As soon as he davens for Avimelech, boom. כאשר התפלל אברהם בעד אבימלך, נפקדה שרה, תכף מיד, קודם שריפא את אבימלך. Even before Avimelech was healed, she was already pregnant. And here,
How do we know that she was already pregnant?
because the verse says, where it was said, let me see. לכל אשר, one second. Where is the saying? One second. שמח פרשה זו למדך שכל מבקש אחי חברו צריך להיות הוא נהנה תחילה שנאמר ויתפלל, it says ויתפלל, and he davened, ושמיך ל, and after he davened, the parasha is והשם פקד את שרה, and then he tells you that אבימלך. Yeah. Okay? So where are we? זאת אומרת, אוקיי, ובזה מודגש יותר, we on page 8 at the bottom, ובזה מודגש ביותר, in this it is very emphasized, גודל העילוי של כל המבקש רחמים על חברו. Now we're going to start understanding what the Gemara says. If you ask for mercy on your friend, if you daven for your friend, כי ההבטחה זו שניתנה על ידי הקדוש ברוך הוא משך זמן רב קודם לכם, even though God promised 30 years ago, לא נתקיימה משך כל הזמן. It was not fulfilled all the time. עד שאברהם התפלל על אבימלך. until Abraham davened for אבימלך. וכאשר אברהם מתפלל על אבימלך, as soon as אברהם מתפלל על אבימלך, אזי נפקדה שרה תכף ומיד. שרה immediately became pregnant, קודם שריפא את אבימלך, even before אבימלך was healed. page 9. ומובן בפשטות שרפואת אבימלך הייתה בסמיכות לתפילתו של אברהם. And we understand that the davening for the healing for אבימלך was immediately after the davening of אברהם. כלומר שתכף ומיד לאחר תפילת אברהם התרפא אבימלך. Immediately after Abraham davened, אבימלך was healed. ועוד מקודם לכן, even before that, Sarah became pregnant. In other words, it wasn't 3 days later because he would have died. Yeah, if Abraham would have davened immediately, there's no way that the person can survive. Okay. יתרה מזו. It's going to get even further. אפילו כאשר הבקשה על חברו היא באופן שצריכים לפעול המשכת רצון חדש. Sometimes there's two kinds of davening to God. Let's just go over them quickly. Sometimes God decrees good upon a person, but because this person did something wrong in his life, you know, this good is not coming down. He's preventing the good to come down. So all the person needs to do is he needs to do tshuva, and he will get it. That's what it needs. But sometimes the person did tshuva, did everything. Up there, it's not decreed to come down. There's nothing there. There's nothing to bring down. God didn't say it's going to get anything. There's nothing to bring down. So this is what it says, אפילו כאשר הבקשה לחברו היא באופן שצריכים לפעול המשכת רצון חדש. In other words, God doesn't want to give it to him. Something else. It's a new thing. ואילו הבקשה שלו היא באופן שהוא יכול לתבוע דבר שכבר הובטח לו. And in our case, Abraham can demand from God, God, you owe me. We had an agreement, you promised me. שנקל יותר לפעול קיום הבטחה שכבר הובטחה מאשר לפעול המשך רצון חדש. It's easier for Abraham to ask to do tshuva. It says, God, but look, we had an agreement. Stand up to your agreement. It's much easier to come to God and say, God, make a new. Let's make a new thing. Bring something that I wasn't supposed to get in the contract. Yeah? Even though in the contract did not say a new Rolls Royce, I want a new Rolls Royce. That's something new. If it says it in the contract and you did your part, you can say, hey, God, I did my part. You do your part. That's much easier. Right. Now to ask for a new Rolls Royce? No. Come on. גם אז הנהגתו היא באופן שלכל הראש ראה מבקש רחמים. Even then, look at Abraham. He didn't ask for a kid for him. He could have. He asked a kid for אבימלך. כפי שלמדים מהנהגתו של אברהם אבינו, שלכל הראש התפלל אבימלך, למרות שתפילתו בנוגע לעצמו, באופן שהוא מבקש ותהיה דבר שקורא לך. It's much easier would have been for him to say, hey God, we had a contract, look what it says, I did my part, you do your part. Much easier than to ask for a new Rolls Royce that's not in the contract. Right? Because אבימלך wasn't in the contract. ואם הדברים אמורים בנוגע לפנהגו של אברהם אבינו קודם מתן תורה, and who we talking about? We're talking about a Jew who lived before מתן תורה. In other words, he had less power than us. We have more power than him after מתן תורה. הרי על אחת כמה וכמה, how much more so, שעניין זה צריך להיות ביתר שאת וביתר זול לאחר מתן תורה. We who are living after מתן תורה have more power than Abraham had before מתן תורה. ובפרט שכללות העניין דאהבת ישראל הוא כלל גדול בתורה. And we also have a rule, to love your fellow Jew is a very big rule in the Torah. So it's a Torah thing to daven for another Jew. Okay. What does it mean? You're missing something. You don't have a child. You don't have food. You don't have something. God has for you a commandment from the Torah. Anything that you're lacking, you have to what? You have to ask from God immediately. That's the first thing you should do. You don't have something is missing, something you don't have enough money, you don't have enough food, you don't have a wife, you don't have health, I don't care what. The first responsibility for you from the Torah is to daven to God. God, give it to me. כאשר יהודי צריך דבר מסוים, when a Jew needs something, עליו להתפלל לקדוש ברוך הוא לבקש את צרכיו. He needs to daven to God to ask for his needs. וזוהי מצווה מן התורה. This is a commandment from the Torah. מצוות עשה של תפילה. This is what davening is all about. חיוב מצווה זו כך הוא. This is what the commandment is. שיהיה אדם שואל צרכיו. A person needs to ask for whatever he needs. If he's missing something, ask God. God, I need this. ושהוא צריך להם, ועל פי זה, כאשר הוא וחברו צריכים לאותו דבר. Now comes the question. If you and your friend needs the same thing, right? You and him, יכול הוא לטעון, he can think, excuse me, who's first? Me. For sure I'm first. For sure I'm first. And I can give you in הלכה אדם first. שלכל ראש צריך הוא להתפלל בקשר לעצמו. It says, the logic says, first ask for yourself. In other words, your children are starving, they don't have food. And there's a child in Argentina, a Jewish child in Argentina doesn't have food. Who should you take care of first? Your children comes first. What do you mean? First of all, I'm going to daven for the Argentinian kid. First of all, I'm asking for my kid. That's my first responsibility. That's what you would have thought. Okay? So let's see. כי על ידי זה הרי הוא מקיים את המצוות עשה של תפילה. Because through this, page 10, he's doing the positive commandment. ורק אחר כך יתפלל ויבקש על חברו. Only then you have the obligation to ask for your friend. ובפרט כשהוא יודע מה שכתוב בגמרא, and the Rebbe brings it from a Gemara, הלכה, שחייך קודמים לחיי חברך. It tells us a story where we see that your life comes before your friend's life. This is the story. The story is, there's a verse in the Torah, it says, וחי אחיך עמך. Your brother lives with you. So the Gemara is like this. This is in Talmud Baba Metzia. It says, שניים שהיו מהלכים בדרך. Two people walking in the way. Walking in the desert. וביד אחד מהם קיתון של מים. And there's not enough water. I mean, they both went on the trip with some water, each one brought. And then one notices that they're far away from the destination, and there's not enough water for both of them. There's not enough. If they both are going to drink, both are going to die. There's not enough. They're not going to get there. Yeah? וביד אחד מהם קיתון של, and one holds the bottle of water. What should he do? So let's see. אם שותים שניהם מתים, if they both drink, they'll die. ואם שותה אחד מהם מגיע ליישוב, if one of them drinks it, he's going to be able to survive. דרש בן פטורה. So Ben Petora said, this is what you do. He says, what do you mean what you do? This is what you do. מוטב, it says, the best thing, the good thing to do, שישתו שניהם וימותו. It says, I know that they're going to die, let them both drink and let them both die. Why? ואל יראה אחד במיתתו של חברו. Not one of them should see the death, because otherwise you would know that you're responsible for your friend's death. He says it's better that both of you drink and both of you die. That's what Ben Petora said. עד שבא רבי עקיבא, but then Rabbi Akiva came and he says, you didn't learn this verse. You forgot, Ben Petora, you forgot this verse in Leviticus. What the verse says? ולימד, וחי אחיך עמך. The verse says, and the life of your brother is with you. What does Rabbi Akiva says? חייך קודמים לחיי חברך. Your life comes before the life of your friend. In other words, if you hold the water, that's it. You're not allowed to give him and you together. You keep it, you drink and you survive. That's right. That's what Rabbi Akiva says. Because you're only responsible for your friend if you're alive. If you're not going to be alive, then you're not responsible for him. Chai achicha imach, with you. With you. And here the Rebbe says, whoa. So if Chai achicha imach, Avraham should have davened for what? For himself, not for Avimelech. And for himself, it's an easier davening. For himself, you owe me, God. It's in the contract. Over here, Avimelech is asking for Rolls Royce, something which was not in the contract. And it's a halacha. It's more than that. It's more important than life and death. Continuation of the Jewish nation. It's much more than life and death. It's much more. And imagine what life and death. Avimelech is going to bring a Philistine, and Abraham is going to bring the Jewish nation. Can you compare between the two? Yeah. ועל זה באה הוראה, and here comes, God says, no, you're wrong. Learn the way Abraham did it. When it comes to davening, you don't do what the halacha says. You don't daven for yourself. You should always daven for your friend. כל המבקש רחמים על חברו, והוא צריך אותו דבר. It says, here you learn a rule. There's a trick. It's almost like a trick. It's like a bypass. You want something, daven for somebody else. You're going to get it first. In other words, the way to get it for you is by you davening for somebody else. In other words, you're doing it for whom? Why are you davening for him? For selfish reasons. Your only reason why you're davening for him because you know you're going to get it first. How do we learn this? From Abraham. Wait, exactly. On that we're going to discuss. Exactly your question, that's the Rebbe's question. המדגישה את גודל העילוי וההפלאה של אהבת ישראל. This emphasizes the love of a Jew. שאף על פי שהוא צריך לאותו דבר, that even though he needs the same thing, אף על פי כן לכל הראש הוא מבקש רחמים על חברו. Nevertheless, he's going to ask for his friend. ועד כדי כך גדול העניין של מבקש רחמים על חברו, and it is so great, שאף על פי שהצורך שאברהם היה צריך לאותו דבר, הוא שלא בערך לגמרי לצורך של אבימלך. אברהם needed it much more than אבימלך did. Why? Your question, Aryeh. כי אצל אברהם אבינו דובר אודות הצורך של דת יצחק. By אברהם אבינו we're talking about a great person like יצחק, the continuation of the Jewish nation. שעל ידו הוא קיום של חילות עם ישראל. This is the Jewish nation he's asking for. כמו שכתוב, והרבה את זרעו ואתן לו את יצחק. like it says, I'm going to give you the nation of יצחק. כלומר, שעל ידי לידת יצחק נעשה קיום של חילות עם ישראל באופן של ריבוי, ככוכבי השמיים. יצחק is the Jewish nation. וככל אשר שפת הים is the entire nation today. אף על פי כן, לא לכל לראש, even though it's true, here he's asking for יצחק, here he's asking for some Philistine that is going to kill and rape and do something, yeah? Even though it's like this, Abraham asked for the Philistine before him. שמזה רואים על גידוי העילוי שמבקש רחמים. And why did he do it, it looks like? Because it helped him get whatever he wants. Now we're going to get to your question. The Rebbe knows your question. So the Rebbe asked, I don't understand what's going on over here. הנה, העניין דמבקש רחמים על חברו, it says, I don't understand this whole concept. It's a nice trick, but like Nadav says, the trick smells a little bit. It's smelly. It doesn't make so much sense. Why? הוא בדוגמת המצווה, שאדם אוכל פירותיהם בעולם הזה, כי כאשר מתפלל על חברו, אז הוא מקבל את שכר שנמנה לתחילה. In other words, you're doing it for yourself. In other words, it's not for, you're not doing it for the mitzvah, you're not doing it, I have a trick. I'm going to daven for you because I want to get daven that you win the lotto, so I will win the lotto first.
Is that something that you have to daven for yourself after?
You don't even need to, because as soon as you daven for him, you're going to be answered. You don't even need to daven for yourself. It's like a trick. Every time I want something, I'll find somebody who needs it. You know, I need money, I find another poor person who needs money. I daven, you should win the lotto, and then I'll get the lotto. Yeah. What's going on? In other words, am I really davening for him? And the question is that called really davening for him? It's smelly. It is smelly. So the Rebbe asked your question. ומובן שגם כאשר מתפלל לחברו לפי שיודע שעל ידי זה הוא נתנה תחילה. He says, look what happens. He's davening for his friend, even though he knows that he's going to be answered first. That's why he's davening for his friend, because he wants to get answered first. כלומר שעושות זאת לשם קבלת שכר. In other words, the only reason he's doing it, because he wants to win the lottery. שאז הרי התפילה על חברו לבשלומות. You call that davening, the Rebbe says? This is called davening on your friend. Yeah, that's not the right davening. כי מה שמתפלל על חברו, אין זה משום שטובתו של חברו נוגעת לו יותר מאשר טובתו. It's not because you really care about your friend. You care about yourself, that you know the trick, that if you ask for him, you're going to get. Yeah, it's not, you don't really care about him. כי משום שעל ידי זה הוא נענה תחילה. It says, you know what it is similar to, the Rebbe says? ובדוגמת, it says, I'll give you an example. Somebody who runs away from honor. Why does he run away from honor? ובדוגמת הבורח מן הכבוד. Exactly. Exactly. ובדוגמת הבורח מן הכבוד. It says, the Rebbe says, it sounds ridiculous. The rule says that somebody who runs away from honor, why is he running away from honor? Because there's a saying that if you run away from honor, honor will run after you. כדי שהכבוד ירדוף אחריו. בידעו שכל הבורח מן הכבוד, הכבוד ירדוף אחריו. He knows. So he runs away. Why? Because he wants honor. כמובן פשטות, מהי המשמעות של בריחה מן הכבוד באופן אמור? He says, it looks so stupid. He says, he's not really running away from honor, he's running to honor. He says, it's same thing. It sounds like the same thing over here, the Rebbe says. I don't understand the whole concept. What are you teaching me? Yeah? Yeah, something doesn't make sense in the whole process. It says, it doesn't sound Toradic. He says, nevertheless, the Rebbe says, first of all, to make you calm, I'll make you calm. הנה, גם באופן כזה, הרי הוא מקבל את השכר, שהוא נענה תחילה. It says, even in such a manner, he received the reward, even if he davened for some delay, he received the reward first. Why? מכיוון שפול ממש, הרי הוא מפלל חברו. Because nevertheless, what did he do? Did he daven for his friend? He davened for his friend. And did his friend is his friend going to get answered? His friend is going to get answered after you, but he is going to get answers. So you did something. So I don't care if you... וחברו מקבל תועלת על תפילתו. Your friend is going to receive benefit because you davened. וביחס לתועלת שבקבל חברו, and when it comes to the benefit that your friend gets, אין נפקא מינה כלל מהי כוונתו של המתפלל. I don't care what you meant. He is getting help. What do I care why you is getting help? He's getting help because you want the help. Okay, but he's getting help. You caused it. So first of all, you should be happy because of that. It's good. It's coming. אם אמנם נוגע לו טובתו, I don't care if you really care about your friend more than you care about yourself, or you don't care about yourself more than you care about yourself. That's a side issue. First of all, you're helping somebody. That's the first thing. It says, where do we find a similar thing? הדרך שאנו מוצאים בנוגע למצוות הצדקה. We find a similar idea when it comes to charity. שעיקרה, שאני אקבל את צרכיו. The main thing is that the poor person is going to receive the money. ואין אף כמינה מה יקדם לו שנותן. I don't care if you intended or not. In other words, כפי שמוכח גם עם הרבי ז"ל, for example, even if you didn't intend, you're going to get the reward. המאבד סלע מתוך ידו ומצא עני ונתפרנס במעלה עליו הכתוב, so it says if somebody lost $1 and somebody else found $1 and he bought food, you just get the reward because this guy is alive today. God says you saved the life, even though you didn't mean to. Same thing over here. You didn't mean to. It doesn't matter. It's done. The intention doesn't matter. Wait, it's going to get even better. כלומר, שאפילו כאשר אני אתפרנס על ידו, even if you had no intention, and the poor person just found the money, הרי הוא מקיים, the commandment of charity is yours. וכידוע, תורת הבעל שם טוב, ששמירת צדקה לא נוגע כל כך גם לשמה. Like the Baal Shem Tov says, when it comes to tzedakah, it doesn't matter if you do it for the right reason, for the wrong reason. The main reason is somebody's eating. Somebody's alive today. אבל לאידך, but again the Rebbe says, but it's smelly. מובן בפשטות, he says, I don't understand. תכלית השלימות שבדבר היא, the truth is that one should daven like Abraham really davened. כאשר התפילה על חברו נובעת מתוך רגש אמיתי של אהבת ישראל. When you daven for your friend from a great intention of loving a fellow Jew, עד כדי כך שטובת הזולת נוגעת אצלו עוד יותר מאשר טובתו האישית. Until the good of the other one is more important to you than your own good. ולכן לראש מתפלל חברו. This is why the person davens for his friend. It says it's true that even if you don't daven for that reason, it's going to work. But you should know that you should daven like this. That in other words, he's more important than me. That's why you should daven. I'll give you a story and then we're going to do the rest. famous story happened in the 1990s. I know the people personally. There's two people from Israel, two couples in Israel, didn't have children for many, many years. By the way, this is one of the hardest things to go and ask the Rebbe. Many people came with this problem to the Rebbe. The Rebbe told many people to come, but it's very hard to ask the Rebbe such thing because the Rebbe didn't have any children. And you come to the Rebbe and you say, So they came to the Rebbe, they came from Israel in the Tishrei to the Chagim. They stayed by some person in Crown Heights. Yeah, they stayed by him, and they came in the Chagim to the Rebbe by dollars, right? So they came by dollars, and usually the Rebbe would give the blessings. When it will be a blessing, he would say something extra, not just the regular thing. And then everybody's happy because if Rebbe said something extra, and he said something, now you can relax. It's going to happen. And both of them went to the Rebbe. The regular says the blessing for children, and the Rebbe says bracha v'atzlacha, and like everybody else. And the boys felt it wasn't it. This wasn't it. And they're both sitting by the host in Crown Heights. And they're discussing, they're both already for many years without children, and they're discussing it. Then they are sitting in the host. The host doesn't have any children. So they decided, because they knew everything over here, they decided, next time, tomorrow, next Sunday, whenever the Rebbe gives dollars, we're going to go again, and truly we're going to work only to ask for him. Not because we care about him, not also. Look, he brought them, he helped them, he says, even if we don't get, we want him to have. Yeah, that's what I say. They both went and asked the Rebbe. It's actually on JLI, you can actually see it. On JLI, I'll give you the thing. There's a video of this. They both of this asked for the same blessings. All three of them, this is after years of all three of them the next year had a child. All three families.
They all asked for each other?
They all asked for the host. The host didn't go. They both asked for the host. The host was in Crown Heights all the time. He asked probably many times.
Many times.
Yeah. Let's ask for him and he'll have it. And we can see it also. Let's go in the last page. We can see it also by Avraham and Yitzchak. When it comes to a shidduch, how do we see this? So it says, ויצחק בא מבוא באר לחי רועי, והוא יושב בארץ הנגב. Yitzchak came from באר לחי רועי, and he sits in the south. And Rashi explains, why is he coming from this place? What's so special about this place? Because this is right now, after the Akedah. What happened after the Akedah? After the binding of Isaac? Sarah passed away. So Yitzchak is coming from Be'er Lechai Roi. He's bringing Hagar, very good. Sarah passed away, Abraham doesn't have a wife. He runs immediately to what? And what is Abraham doing at this time?
He was in Beersheba.
Yeah, but what was Abraham doing? Abraham is looking for also a shidduch. For it. Look, they both, instead of Abraham taking care of himself, Abraham is taking care of, that's right. Each one is doing for the other. Yeah. שהלך להביא הגר לאברהם אביו שישאנה. And by the way, this is happened after Yom Kippur War, this later. This woman, I think it was after Yom Kippur, I'm almost sure. It's a special charity group in Israel called Shifra. Do you ever hear about it? Shifra, yeah. So what happened in Yom Kippur, her husband, Chabad Chassid, her husband died in the war. And she was devastated. Imagine a woman stays with children, no husband, that's it, gone. So the Rebbe told her, make an organization to help widows and orphans, and dedicate your life to this organization. That's what you should do. And this is a letter that the Rebbe writes her. So listen to the Rebbe. The Rebbe writes, Ve'ashrei chelka, it says, how happy is her portion. שזכתה וגם הצליחה, that she merited and succeeded, לעודד נפשות רבות מבנות ישראל, to awaken many Jewish ladies, אשר כל אחת ואחת מהם בת שרה, רבקה ורחל ולאה. Each and every one of them are the daughters of Sarah, Rivka and Rachel and Leah. במעמדן המיוחד שעבדו בעליהם. They all became widows, and you helped them. ובוודאי, it says, and for sure you should know, נאמנים דברי חכמינו ז"ל, הוא נענה תחילה. It says, the reason why I told you to do it, so you can have some comfort in your life. When you give them comfort, you're going to get comfort. Otherwise, you're going to be bitter and sore. The reason why you're alive now, the reason why you care about it, the reason why you can continue life as a normal human being is because you're helping other widows. Before you even helping them, it says you're going to get rewarded.
I'll be honest with you, Abba, you see it actually not only in the Jews, you see it in the world. People that a lot, they lose their kids, I don't know, they go and they make a new law or something in the Amen.
It gives them life.
It gives them life. חזרה.
Yeah, that's right. שיעודדה השם יתברך. He says that God is going to awaken you. ויתעלה ויחזק רוחה ומצבה היא. And she's going to get even stronger than what she is right now by helping other people.